Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. Let's see if we are capable of producing sound. If we have sound, I guess so. We are going to talk about a hot topic that you might have thought about before, and it's the number of operating system users in the world. Have you ever asked yourself how many people in the world are using Windows? How many people are using Mac? And how many people are using, let's mute this. What's going on? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay, sorry about that. My internet sucks. So, have you ever asked yourself how many people in the world are using Linux? Technology is always evolving and changing. It's not like a 2000 or 1990s that people, some of them were using Windows, most of them were using DOS, disk operating system, and only some developers were using Linux and some people were using Macintosh. Technology always changes and people are always changing their trends of using uh, operating systems, computer systems. So today we are going to look at the current trend of people's pattern of usage of different operating systems. How many people are using Windows nowadays? This is our first question. So let's Google it. How many people, or let's make it short, number of Windows users. And I hope Google gives us good hit. As you can see, 400 million are using Windows, and this is very nice. Of course, I don't care whether it is nice or not. This is just subjective. Absolutely, you have your own opinion on this, but it's 400 million and it is very much. So currently in 2019 and exactly in October 2019, 400 million are using Windows operating system, or we cannot exactly say which version of Windows they are using. Some of them might be using version 7, Windows 7, some Windows 8, a few of them, and most of them are probably using Windows 10, the latest and most full-featured version of Windows. And the next question is, how many people in the world are using macOS, the major operating system from Apple? So let's change our search terms, the phrase from Windows user to Mac users. 100 million, not surprising. So this is a major operating system. It is very popular from the company of Steve Jobs, and it has around 100 million. It means that around 100 people in the world are using, possess in fact a MacBook Air or iMac, let's say, a Mac system on which the Mac operating system is installed. You know that you might have known this before, but if you don't know, let me tell you that Mac operating system only runs on Mac hardware. So you cannot install a Mac operating system, Mac OS, Mac OS Catalina, Mac OS Mojave, Mac OS Sierra, other versions of Mac OS operating systems on other hardware like conventional laptops or other hardware that you find in the market. You cannot just do that. Apple does not allow you, both legally and both technically. So this means that a lot of people, although 100 million is much fewer than 400 million, but it means that 100 million devices from Apple are also working with this operating system. So probably here this can win Windows in this case. Windows is only the software, but 100 million Apple devices are in fact using macOS, and this is a big win for Apple, I guess. Okay, let's move on. What is our next question? What do you know about Linux? How much have you studied about Linux? Are you a Linux user? Are you a Linux developer? If you are a developer, most probably you have worked with Linux, or maybe even Linux is your current desktop, like me. So let's search for the number of Linux users and hope that it is also big number of users. I'm sure that nowadays people are uh, using more of this operating system than ever before. And that's because Linux has become easier to use and more popular and more user friendly than the old days when Linux was only uh, capable of having a terminal interface for the users to allow them to enter commands and then use it. That's not anymore the case. Today, people can use major distributions of Linux almost for everyday use. Uh, and also, there are a lot of software that make this possible. There are a lot of free software provided by the community to the Linux operating systems ecosystem that make this possible and keep the users happy and satisfied with the system, so that they don't need to resort to other operating systems, paid operating systems like Mac OS or Windows to do their daily jobs. So let's search for it. Number of Linux users. Okay, that's not surprising as well. Around 32 million people uh, are using Linux, and this doesn't include the 1.7 billion Android users, which are essentially using Linux, because you might know that Android is basically Linux and is running a Linux kernel under the hood. But in terms of desktop operating system and desktop usage, probably 32 million people are using different distributions of Linux. Okay guys, I hope that you find this video useful. I just thought about this randomly, and once this idea struck my mind, I thought that it would be nice to share it with you. Take care, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me your comments down below. Take care. End stream, and thanks for watching.